February 17th on the Jerry Doyle Show. That'd be me, JD. On the program where intellectual anarchy is encouraged and nurtured for now, we always do appreciate you taking your time to spend it with us here on the show. I think I have a hangover today because I'm suffering from the after effects of... Was the crowd drinking last night at the South Carolina primary? Because I think whatever they were consuming, I am suffering the toxic effects from. Although the crowd last night, for the first time to me, looked like they actually had a pulse. I found it to be quite interesting. Marcelo working the dials, Brad producing the program, emails at the website, and a poll question up there for you today. So the Southern Christian conservatives in South Carolina booed Ron Paul's foreign policy and military spending comments, yet Ron Paul gets more campaign donations from active military than all the other candidates combined. I asked the question, why? 18% say because they're not very well informed. Not a popular answer. 18% say they don't understand his policies. 21% say they're tired of ill-defined wars, and 43% say they get it. War profiteering must end. You can answer it there at the website, jerrydoyle.com, or here at 800-876-4123. Apparently, spring break came a little early to South Carolina last night. Now, having gone to Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, the Harvard of Aviation in Daytona Beach, Florida, I was always used to spring break heading south, my direction, which was brutal when you're in flight school, because for you, spring break was a week. For me, it was about 2 months as they rotated colleges and universities through the beaches of Florida. But apparently, spring break broke early in South Carolina last night, a rowdy crowd, to say the least. And I was like, finally, somebody's awake. Finally, somebody's paying attention. Agree, disagree, right, wrong. Instead of just sitting on your hand and just like giving the golfers clap. He's about to walk up to the 17th green. The grass seems to be... You want to prove you're a really good golfer or a really good tennis player? Do it when the crowd is screaming and yelling. No, I have to be able to hear which way the tennis ball is spinning in the air. No. Extreme tennis, extreme golf, and extreme politics. And last night, the crowd was showing, without any hesitation, where it was they stood. And it was an interesting audience. Because last night, you could say, who won the debate? Was it Newt? Was it Mitt? Was it Rick? Was it Ron? Who am I leaving out? Oh, there's two Ricks.
Yeah.
That's right. Rick Perry, Rick Santorum. There's 5. I thought the crowd last night won the debate because the crowd was really involved in the debate. And Brett Baer and company, Jerry Seib, Juan Williams, and I forget the gal's name, but they didn't really make that much of an attempt to quiet the crowd. You know, they made the occasional joke, well, it looks like we're going to have to bring the buzzer or the bell back, which they made no attempt to do. And I think in actuality, they liked the fact that the crowd was helping to kind of let the candidates know what they liked and what they didn't. Kelly Evans was, you put the chick, was Kelly Evans. Wow, how sexist of you. I was going to say dame or broad or woman, but you said chick. Kelly Evans, that's right. She was from the Wall Street Journal, too. But I thought the questioning was pretty good, but the crowd was spring break, but it was like the Lions and the Christians, like we were in the Coliseum. They're all sitting there with their thumbs to the side, waiting to hear the answer, and then when it's time for the right one, thumbs up, and when it's the wrong one, it's thumbs down, off with their heads. But isn't it ironic that the Southern Christian conservatives, the religious people, were booing the golden rule that Ron Paul talked about? Now, here is what they cheered. Here's Newt Gingrich talking about what we need to do with the bad guys.
We're in South Carolina. South Carolina in the Revolutionary War had a young 13-year-old named Andrew Jackson. He was sabred by a British officer and wore a scar his whole life. Andrew Jackson had a pretty clear-cut idea about America's enemies. Kill them.
Down, off with their heads, release the lions, kill them. Then along comes the Massachusetts moderate, according to Newt Kill Them Gingrich, Mitt Romney.
Speaker Gingrich is right. Of course you take out our enemies, wherever they are. And the right thing for Osama bin Laden was the bullet in the head that he received. That's the right course for people who kill American citizens. Now,
yeah, kill him. Mitt Romney, Mr. Old Button-Up. Kill him. Kill them. Our obvious enemies. Then they come to Ron Paul, the guy that I endorsed, and said, okay, are you with us or are you against us? Should we kill him?
If another country does to us what we do others, we're not going to like it very much. So I would say that maybe we ought to consider a golden rule in foreign policy. Don't do to other nations what we don't want to have them do to us. So this country doesn't need another war. We need to quit the ones we're in. We need to save the money and bring our troops home.
Whoa, they booed the golden rule. The Southern Christian conservatives on spring break during this political season booed the golden rule. For those of you not familiar, it's a takeoff of Matthew 7:12, which is basically do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Now, as a Ron Paul supporter, I would be lying to you if I said he had a strong performance last night with articulating his foreign policy. That would be something where I'd have to be drinking today to go down that road, because he didn't. He did not have a good showing. I'm not going to make excuses for it. I hear people sending me, read people stuff that people are sending me like, well, it was kind of a setup by Fox. Doesn't matter. If it was a setup by Fox, the hare, the hen, it doesn't matter. CNBC, MSNBC. You got to anticipate that they're going to go after you the closer you get towards the decision-making process. And Ron Paul had a poor performance last night, especially when it comes to articulating what his military versus defense spending, what his foreign policy is. Didn't present it well, didn't do himself any favors. But when you take a look at what people were responding to, with Newt Gingrich, Osama bin Laden, kill him! And who is not in agreement with that except maybe Osama bin Laden himself? He might disagree with that notion that he should be room temperature. And then Mitt Romney, kill him! And they were like, yeah, kill Osama bin Laden. Now, I think what Ron Paul was talking about is that when we know, and the audience, I think, backed this up with their cheering, when we know it's time for us to kill somebody, kill them. When we know the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor and killed thousands and sunk dozens of ships and initiated World War, we go and we drop bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And we shorten the agony of war. We know that that's the right thing to do. When Hitler's doing his stupid little genetic selection, dead, kill him. Get rid of him. And people respond to that. And I think people were responding to the obvious. When we have the obvious enemy. But when it comes to what's obvious and what's not, what's changed over time? Who is the enemy? I thought Ron Paul made a good distinction last night between the Taliban, although he didn't articulate what it is the Taliban's all about, is there. Al-Qaeda is here. Offense and defense of a terrorist mindset. Didn't do a good job articulating it. But we had a guy that we are all in agreement should have died, Osama bin Laden. 10 years to do it, the way we went about doing it towards the end, when we had the opportunity to do it, President Clinton had the opportunity, George Bush had the opportunity, and we didn't kill him. There's still to this day, there's a picture that was around in July of 2008, I believe it was, where there were about 30 or so terrorists in terrorist garb gathered around at the funeral of a fellow terrorist. And we didn't take the shot because it was too close to a cemetery, and we didn't want to offend their religious sensibilities, if there is any such thing in radical Islam. But we didn't take them out. I guarantee you some of those people circled back, re-engaged in the terrorist network, and probably had a hand in IEDs or EFPs that killed our guys. But we don't do today what we used to do then when we decided that we had to do the right thing, which was to take on the Japanese, when it was to get rid of Hitler, when it was decided that we have to kill Osama bin Laden. Now, in looking at the comments poorly transmitted by Ron Paul last night, let's take a look at Rick Perry, who was talking about Islamic terrorists that are in charge of Turkey. Now, Turkey, the other white meat, Turkey is our NATO ally. Turkey, we sell F-16s to. But Turkey has started to become infiltrated by Islamist movement that is undermining the stability of Turkey. So then the question is, do we sell F-16s to Turkey or not? Do we give them access to the F-35 or to the JFS? Do we continue to give them money? That's a question. But if you followed the logic of Rick Perry last night, I would be more concerned about President Perry labeling Turkey, our NATO ally, as a nation run by Islamic terrorists, which by default you would say, Islamic terrorists, kill them. Do we really want to kill our NATO ally? As opposed to what Ron Paul said is, let's figure out first what it is we're really dealing with. And then, if we know that that's what we've got, when we've got actionable intelligence, when our nation's safety, survival is truly threatened, then we unleash the holy hell of our United States military and we destroy our enemy.
The Jerry Doyle Show.
The Southern Christian conservatives booing the Golden Rule and cheering the killer mentality. And you know what? Newt Gingrich, Mitt Romney, and Ron Paul were all right on that score last night. 800-876-4123 is the number. Join me.
The Jerry Doyle Show.